If I was to put you on the spot and say rank, where you think some of the better opportunities lie within the commodities market as we sit here today, are there any particular standouts where you feel like there's a big value catch-up?
Yeah, look, it's hard to say because each one has its own kind of dynamics. Each one is attractive. If I say in the short term, I'd say, if you look at lithium, say, lithium prices are yet to recover to what they were, lithium carbonate, lithium hydroxide prices. They've rallied from the bottom 40, 50%, but they've still got a long way to go. While copper itself has rallied significantly, but those prices are not reflective of underlying equity, right? The equities are still trailing some of those commodity price moves. I'd probably say the interesting bits would be nickel and copper, I think, because they, relative to the industry size, they're significant challenges. It's not to diminish the challenges for lithium and graphite and the rest, but there are lithium projects that are identified and under construction and development to meet the medium-term demands. There are graphite projects the same. I don't think they're the same in nickel and copper, so I think they probably need stronger for longer to incentivise more exploration, more discovery. So I'd probably say, if I was to say right now, it'd be copper and nickel.
Could you take me inside the investment thesis on one specific commodity and maybe talk through a stock example of how you're playing it, put the process?
All right, well, given that I said copper, I'll have to say copper.
All right, let's go copper.
I'd say Ivanhoe again, right? So Ivanhoe 2. So there's another version of Ivanhoe, led by the same guy, Robert Friedland, who has been enormously successful in discovering serious assets around the world. In the 2000s, it was Oyu Tolgoi in Mongolia. Today, it's a project called Kamoa-Kakula in the DRC, in the Congo. Yeah. He's been working on this project for 20 years, initially in a private entity and then within the company called Ivanhoe, which was his original vehicle back in the day. And again, it sounds like a broken record, but he actually has discovered one of the next largest copper discovery in the world in this province. A totally virgin discovery, didn't exist before.
Is that unique for someone to go and make two massive discoveries like this, or has he got his ear to the ground? Is he a deal hunter? I mean, this is...
No, he's one of the things about him is again, quote unquote, visionary.
To be working on the project for 20 years.
He takes a long-term view. He takes strong geological views and backs the people that have that view, and backs it with capital. Because at the end of the day, making discoveries is a function of many variables. One is the geological opportunity, the understanding of that geology, using modern technology to kind of do all the pre-work before you start drilling, and then when you start drilling, to continue doing it and aggressively push forward as you made a discovery to delineate that. And he's done all of that, and he's done that numerous times, by the way. What that says is you back the people, you back their skill, and you make sure you keep on funding it through the cycle when no one wants to know you and when they do want to know you. Now, since that discovery, it's over 2 billion tonnes, and I think the combined grade is going to be over 1.4%, something like that.
And so what's a good grade in copper for people that don't have a reference point?
That's a good grade, right? That's a good grade, but he's got even better grade because this is the style of geology. This is a sedimentary style deposit, kind of flat-lying, not very deep. For the first 10 years of his mine, he'll have grades of 6% copper, which are just outrageous in any language. What does that mean? Well, 6% copper compared to an average porphyry grade of 0.8%, right? That's a difference. Yes, it's underground, but it's reasonably shallow and doable. So what he has done is delineated, discovered a major province. So now you can call it a major province. He's just about to complete construction of phase 1 of a multi-phase project. And he's probably got 3 to 4 phases of expansion that by the end of that, which will be 5-6 years from now, it could be 700 to 800,000 tonnes of contained copper per year. production, which will make it one of the biggest mines in the world.
So that's the asset.
The asset.
The equity's Ivanhoe, is that right?
The company's Ivanhoe, and the way he's funded it, he's brought Chinese investors at the project level and also at the equity level. So he's funded the project. It's been capital efficient. The Chinese have brought development skills because they're the company's Zijin and their associates have experience working in Africa. They've been doing it for a while and they know how to build things. And so far, the speed at which they're doing it, they're just about to probably finish construction and start commissioning in middle of the year, July sometime, and then immediately roll into stage 2 expansion. When you look at it all, this is a long life asset. This is like decades of production, expansion, fed by hydropower. One thing the Congo is not short of is water, the Congo River, etc. And there's numerous dams that have been built in the country, and they've been refurbishing some of these old hydro dams, and they'll be providing power. So that'll be green power, basically. In a world that's emerging, not only does the world want copper, but it wants copper that's got a low carbon footprint. Because if you want to supply some of these emerging demand areas, like say the EU, a producer needs to demonstrate that they're also compliant from many aspects, ESG being the big overriding factor. So one, environmentally and socially, etc., compliant. This is going to be driven by hydropower. It'll be an underground mine, so it means the footprint of the mine is not visible from the surface other than the surface facilities, unlike a major big open pit mine that moves a lot of material, creates waste piles and stockpiles and things that need to be managed. This one will have a very low footprint where the mine is, and it'll be automated, just a physical setup of the mine. You'll be able to convey the material from underground. All the vehicles probably will be electric in due course as the technology evolves, and it'll have a carbon footprint probably a tenth of what the average copper mine does today. So tick, 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 significant. And in all of that will be not a big producer, but at a very low operating cost, despite being in the DRC. Now the DRC, again, if you listen to some people, it's challenging, Africa's difficult. You go where the geology is, you go where the opportunity is, with people that know how to execute on it. And again, Ivanhoe has done that in a commodity that will be in high demand going forward.
And what's the valuation like on that stock? It's listed overseas. Is it in the price?
It's a Canadian. Again, it's listed on the TSX in Canada. It's got a market cap of about $6 billion. Probably trades at around $6.50 a share. If we kind of do the basic kind of valuations at a reasonable copper price, let's say it's $3.20, we can easily get $10 a share. The question is, what's it worth when copper's $5 a share? We don't, obviously it will be higher. Well, that's the cream, if you like, on the cake. The cake is all the things that I've just mentioned, which are all the elements that are going to be there to create value for the company, and the commodity price will do what it does. We take a view on a commodity, but we don't take the extremely bullish view as the reason to invest. It's all the other things that drive the reason.